The last letter, the quiet suburbs of Chicago, looked the same as they always had, rows of neat houses, trimmed lawns, and mailboxes waiting for letters that rarely came anymore. But inside one small, aging house on the corner of Maple Street lived 16-year-old Emily and her mother, Kara. Her father, Michael, had been gone for nearly a year. Not gone forever, but deployed overseas with the military. His absence filled the house like a heavy shadow. Every evening, Emily would sit by the window, clutching her father's old jacket. It still smelled faintly of his cologne and motor oil, the smell of safety. She tried to focus on her studies, but her mind drifted. Would her father return? Would he see her graduate high school? Sarah worked double shifts at the hospital, her tired eyes hiding her worry. She often told Emily, "Your father is strong. He'll come back." But deep inside, Sarah battled the same fear that kept Emily awake at night. The letter arrives one rainy afternoon. Emily returned from school to find a letter sitting on the table. The envelope was worn, the handwriting unmistakable, her father's. Her hands trembled as she opened it. "Dear Emily, by the time you read this, I may not be able to write again for a while. Life here is tough, but when I close my eyes, I see you're reading by the window, smiling with your notebooks spread out, dreaming of your future. Promise me one thing, Emily. No matter how hard life gets, don't let fear or sadness take away your dreams. Work hard, study, and one day you'll achieve everything you're meant to. Always proud of you, Dad." Emily pressed the letter to her chest, tears slipping down her cheeks. She whispered, "I promise, Dad." The struggle weeks turned into months. Bills piled up. Sarah grew more exhausted, sometimes falling asleep at the kitchen table after her shifts. Emily wanted to help, but she was only 16. The best she could do was study harder and take a part-time job at the library. Every dollar she earned, she tucked into a jar labeled college fund. She knew her father would want her to keep moving forward, but the weight of absence was crushing. On her birthday, Emily stared at the empty chair at the table. She didn't want cake or gifts. She just wanted her father's voice, his laugh, his silly jokes. That night, Sarah sat beside her. "Emily," she said softly, "your father's promise wasn't just about him coming home. It was about us living bravely while he's away." Emily nodded, though her heart still ached. News from overseas. Then came the day that changed everything. A knock at the door. 2 men in uniform. Sarah froze, her hand gripping Emily's. But instead of tragic news, they handed her another letter. Written weeks before, it had taken time to reach them. Inside was her father's handwriting again. "Dear Sarah and Emily, every sacrifice I make is so you can live free, safe, and strong. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I want you to know this. Family is our greatest strength. Keep going, even when I can't be there. Emily, chase your dreams. Sarah, keep smiling. I'll always be with you, no matter where I am." Emily cried into her mother's arms. For the first time, she realized her father's love wasn't tied to distance. It lived inside them. The promise in action. From that day, Emily worked harder than ever. She poured herself into her studies, stayed late at the library, and volunteered at the hospital where her mother worked. Her grades soared. Teachers noticed her determination. Scholarships began to look possible. At night, she'd reread her father's letters. They became her guide, her strength. Each word was a reminder, never give up. The homecoming one crisp autumn morning, Emily was called to the school auditorium. She didn't know why, just that the principal wanted her there. As she stepped inside, the room erupted in applause. On stage stood her father, Michael, in his uniform, leaner, older, but smiling through tears. "Dad," Emily whispered, frozen. He opened his arms. "Come here, kiddo." She ran into his embrace, sobbing against his chest. The applause grew louder, but all Emily heard was her father's heartbeat, the sound she thought she might never hear again. Sarah stood nearby, crying openly, her hands pressed to her mouth. When the noise settled, Michael spoke into the microphone. My daughter made me a promise. She didn't just keep it, she exceeded it. She worked hard, she stayed strong, and she reminded me why I fight. Today, I'm the proudest father alive. Full circle years later, Emily stood in her graduation gown, diploma in hand. Her father, seated proudly in the front row, clapped the loudest. During her speech, Emily looked at him and said, "This diploma isn't just mine. It belongs to my father, who taught me courage through distance, who gave me strength through words, and who showed me that love travels farther than any ocean. Dad, this is for you." The crowd rose in a standing ovation. Michael wept openly, unashamed. Moral of the story: life may separate us from those we love, but promises, love, and determination can bridge any distance. A parent's sacrifice is never in vain when their child carries their dream forward.